for a closer look at some of the big stories of the week with the Inside Utah Politics panel. This week we have State Senator Karen Main and State Representative Steve Handy. Great to have both of you on the show. Thanks so much for being here.
Happy to be here.
Thank you for inviting us.
So just so happens the two of you will be at the Capitol tomorrow for a special session, so let's dig into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's start with the medical cannabis modifications. Senator Main, let's start with you. This has really been a work in progress, and we're seeing more changes being made here. What do you make of it?
What I make of it is, as a Democrat, you know how we voted. We wanted the will of the people, but as time has gone on, they've crafted it to make it better for our citizens, and that's the goal. We want to make sure whatever they do, whatever they fashion, to make sure that our citizens can get what they need. And I think this is a step forward that way. We need to take care of them and give them the supply they need.
Representative Handy, let's bring you in. The central fill was kind of a big component of this compromise.
Yes, it was.
That's what you and your colleagues talked about.
Right.
Gail Razika of the Eagle Forum got up in committee and said, "Look, we backed off because a deal is a deal, and this is how it was said it was going to happen."
Right.
So, what do you make of that?
Well, as a senator, upon further consideration, it's very, very complicated. So, from the governor's office and the treasurer's office, transactionally, they felt like, that it would work. But upon further consideration and months of reviewing, it's going to be very difficult. And also that with the central pharmacy, that has to do with everything. And then you have also these issues with the district attorney in Salt Lake County and my attorney in Davis County telling their local health departments, we don't think that we're not going to let you be dispensing this. Yeah. So it just has gotten very complicated. But I want to say too, I voted in favor of every one of these bills that have come forward. I believe that people should have access to medical cannabis. We want to do it in a safe and responsible way.
To your point, Senator Main, is this a situation, because these changes do get it closer to Prop 2.
Yeah.
Not quite, but still kind of taking
Right.
steps toward that. So to your point, should the legislature have just left it be in the first place?
I think it's we told you so, and I think that the things that have happened, they've had to fix it as they've gone on. But saying that, we want to make sure, again, that everyone has the services they need. And they've had all these problems, and they fixed, and that's okay. We can't go back, but we need to look forward, because all of our citizens, they need these medications, and whatever they need to do, I support to make that happen. And so this we're one road to the journey to make sure that our citizens get what they need.
How is that "I told you so" received?
Look, it is extremely complicated. Any bill like this, and you have to think of Prop 2 like a bill, but any bill that comes in front of us, there are always going to be changes. And I think going forward in the future, there will be multiple changes as we learn things with the medical cannabis law. And so it's just an opportunity to make changes, and because what we're trying to do is that we're trying to protect the public. We don't want dispensaries to be storefronts for drug dealers, but what we want to do is have it in a responsible way that pharmacists are dispensing, that it's properly dosed, and to get it to the people who need it.
Okay, and a pharmacist will still be required to be on hand in this new bill.
That's my understanding.
And I think you both hit on an important point there. This will probably change even after the special session as we continue to implement this. Let's start with you on this one, Representative Handy. Tell us about the census situation you'll be dealing with.
Yeah, there's another one of the 6 or 7 items that we'll have Monday night. One of them will be that we'll make an appropriation of $1 million to the census effort, and this was talked about in the session of 2019. But when you get into executive appropriations, they decided that that it hadn't risen to the level of that it needed to be appropriated. But again, with further consideration, this will be mainly to promote, to get people. We want an accurate census. We want everyone to participate. This will get the word out. This is critical. This is important.
And this is a bipartisan effort.
Well, yes, I sit on executive appropriations,
there you go.
And I had a different view of that.
Yeah, sure,
we need to fund that.
Let's hear your view.
Well, we need to fund it appropriately, and it wasn't before. Now we're going back. As in my Senate district, West Valley is 31% minority. We want to make sure that we open the doors to everyone. Yeah. We want everyone to be comfortable. If we're not counted correctly, the cities and towns, they don't get the monies they need. And I want I hope that all the citizens recognize that. It's not that we're probing, it's that we need a correct count so the funding can be appropriate for all the areas.
All right, obviously the big issue around there, the citizenship question as well.
Yeah.
We're talking a full count is what you would like to see of people living within our boundaries,
Absolutely.
Correct?
Absolutely.
For the same reasons?
Yeah, those are good reasons. I subscribe to that.
Okay, a very important decision coming down from the Utah Supreme Court on partisan school board elections, basically saying, upholding the constitutionality of that. Senator Maine, your thoughts on that?
I think it's terrible.
Why?
I think that education is different than everything else, and we try to keep it nonpartisan. We have many fine people that maybe don't belong to a party that really are skilled in education. They need to not have to choose a party to run. I think that they should stand on their own, and I am very suspicious and uncomfortable when people run on a party that we put to make educational decisions, not political decisions. They're there for educational. And I think as time goes on, I'm fearful of those who have the most money, those that have political aspirations one way or the other will use that, and this is not what it's for. We elect them to make those educational decisions for us collectively.
Okay, Representative Handy, your thoughts on that?
Yes. Look, there are two issues here. I think the Supreme Court absolutely made the right decision. It was unanimous that these school board people, that the state school board were not employees. Even though they get a few benefits, they're not employees. But I also agree with my good colleague here. I didn't vote in favor of this bill in 2016. It was 50 to 23 in the House, with a couple abstaining or off the floor, and I voted opposed. I just don't think that we need to go down this route. It's going to be very interesting in the years to come. I think that we don't have the governor directly involved in education in the state on the state school board is wrong. I think somebody's got to do a big lift someday to fix that. But I'm not comfortable with this. We're going to have to see what we learn.
So what is the argument on the other side, though?
The argument on the other side is that if you go through the political process, that particularly for the state school board, that people will know who they are, because it is true. Most people don't know who their state school board representative is. We know who our local school board members are, in particular, but the state school board we really don't know. A lot of people don't know who they are, so it gives them more identity, more of an opportunity to be vetted.
Okay, let's get to the race for governor. Okay. Jeff Birmingham jumping in this week. How does that change the race, if at all?
Why not? The more the merrier. And I think it's, I'm just sitting back and watching how it goes. Lieutenant Governor has been in for a long time, so I think he's the one that's put a lot of energy in this.
Yeah, right.
But there's a lot of fine people that are running.
That's
so
right.
I, as a Democrat, it's great. The more the merrier. Yeah. And so when they hone that down, whoever they want, then we'll come to the other side and say, this is our candidate for that. But it's kind of fun to watch, So sometimes when you're not the minority, it's just kind of fun to sit and throw rocks,
Get the popcorn and watch and see what's
there you go.
This could be a crowded field by the time it's all
Could be a crowded
done.
field. I want to say something on Mr. Birmingham. I don't know him, but he's a political newcomer, but he's obviously he can self-fund himself.
Right.
I got a big mailer at my house the other day, and that's pretty incredible. He reminds me of Mike Leavitt. Even though Mike Leavitt was known in the inner circle, he didn't have a name ID, he wasn't well known, even though his dad had been a state senator from Cedar City and so forth. But he got traction and name ID and became a very, very pretty good, darn good governor. So we'll see.
I didn't get one in the mail. I probably should have.
Yours is in the mail, right?
It's in the mail right now.
Correct.
All right. Hey,
I got one.
Yeah. All right. Great conversation. Thanks so much for being with us.
I appreciate
it. All right.
Thank you.